What's up, FishTube? Bearded Bob coming back at you. Well, we'll do a quick June update. Walk around the fish room, talk about the projects that we've been doing, and maybe some future plans here. So let's get started. We'll just start over here. This is the 20-gallon surprise shrimp tank. As you can see, I stuck a little one of these Marina breeder boxes on here, and can you see those? Yeah. So I put some of the reds from the surprise shrimp tank into there. Gave them a little bit of Java moss and some substrate to walk around on, and just fed them. So we're going to see if we can get some red lines started out of these, because I tried before, and all I had was females. All of them died except for one. So now we've got these are all the babies and babies of babies, and you know, it's like third or fourth generation now inside this tank, and they're all kind of piled up on this algae wafer. It'll focus. As you can see, there's all different kinds of shrimp in there. You got yellows, greens, there was some oranges I just pulled out to put them in another tank, and then there's tons of wild types and lots of cherries still. And in this tank it's just a big mat of Java moss in here, so it's kind of cloudy. I added some iron to all the tanks, so whenever I add iron it seems to cloud up the tank pretty good. Not sure what that is, but after about 10 or 12 hours it goes away, so I don't know if the plants absorb it or if it just dissipates or whatever happens. But yeah, it's about 10 or 12 hours and then they finally clear up again. But the water's clean, water's nice. Let's see if we can get there's that one nice green jade shrimp. Look at that guy. So oh, there's one right behind him too, behind that snail there. There's some that that are more of a wild type that have a green tinge to them, but there's definitely some, like that one right there, that's coming out more of a green. A little bit of yellow in them still, but I think I'll be okay with that. I think I can start something there. I'll have to get another aquarium set up for him, because I pretty much have used everything I have, including the new 3 setup that I just did. So that's that tank. Let's go right over here. This used to house all of the grow outs from the guppies. Right now it's just got this goldfish that I've had for a while now. He's just getting huge, and he was sitting in a room all by himself. Now he's moved into the main fish room so he can get attacked by the helper kitties, and they like watching him. The kids love watching him, so he does good in here. There's lots of duckweed. I scoop out all the tanks and I dump all the duckweed in this tank. He eats it, so he's also gets whatever food I'm feeding to the fish room that day. There's some driftwood in there that's just kind of finishing leaching some tannins, because this tank is on the automatic drip system. I have a pretty good amount of water flowing in and flowing out of this tank every day, so it's not like this tank's going to get disgusting from him. There's lots of new water added every day. There's 2 filters in there. I got a big sponge filter and then just a little hang on the back there. But now he's moved up. Son added this nice plant right there. Since he eats everything that I put in there, I got a nice silk plant for him. Another helper kitty. And then I did some rearranging in here. I kind of moved all of these crypts. This big crypt that was kind of like right in the middle there, it was just blocking view. So I cleared out some stuff back here, got rid of all the stem plants mostly, I think. Moved that giant crypt back to this corner. See, the roots still need to get buried a little bit more, but there's an auto back there. There should be 3 of them in this tank still. I have a hard time keeping those past like about a month. You know, this tank isn't the best for algae anymore because they've pretty much just scraped it all off. But there is some, you know, like on that log there. But I'm not sure if it's the type of algae they like to eat. They do get over and eat some of the food and whatever too, but not as much. So I just got a big pile of crypts over here. Got that AR, whatever variety that is. 3 stems of that over on that side, 1 more on this side. Just kind of growing out. Little piece of Bacopa. I transferred it to some of it to this aquarium, because this aquarium just seems to grow plants. I don't think they never have any issues. It's got what I believe is Java moss on this side here. We have a whatever that is, can't think of it, Java fern Windelov plant right there. Some different kind of moss. I'm not sure if this is peacock moss or what it is, but it's a different color, different frond structure, all of that. Got some cholo wood in there. The snails seem to love it more than the shrimp do, but whatever. And these are all my yellow shrimp, so I've been culling pretty heavily as of late. I would like to get one more tank set up so I can pull out just the ones that have the back line on them. But it's all kind of mixed into the genetics in this tank. There was a bunch of oranges in here too, which I'm not sure if that's just a derivative of the yellow or if it's just a really deep yellow. But I pulled those out, put them in their own tank with the oranges from the surprise shrimp tank to see what I can get. And then, you know, duckweed pre-filter. Pretty nice. I can't seem to get rid of duckweed. It just, no matter what I do, it just keeps coming back. So I'm just going to live with it. I'll feed the goldfish. He likes it. I also did add some, oh boy, Repins? I can't think of the name of it. You know, this one right there. Of course, I don't have the card. It was a tissue culture from PetSmart again. And I threw it. It came with, like one decent sized chunk about that big. I split it off into a few different pieces here and spread it around just in this area in this one tank. And then I did throw a couple pieces in the next tank over here. But so there's our the tank boss, and I think he's getting to be a pretty good size. He's about 3 inches right now. So hopefully soon I can find him a female and we can get some babies going, because I'd like to have some more in these tanks. See, there's no algae eaters in this tank whatsoever, just the snails and the billion guppies. Lots of plants in here. We got Hydra in the back there. We got water wisteria, more of that AR plant. A couple of different kind of crypts, which again, these crypts don't do much. They've just, I mean, I've had them for 6 months, 7 months, somewhere in there. And this is as big as they've ever gotten. And the leaf structure is different than this one. This is a bronze crypt as well. Oops, sorry. This is a bronze crypt as well, and you can see the bolation on the... Bolation? Is that a word? Yeah, whatever. The leaves are bolated on that one. On this one, they're pretty straight. My shirt, of course, is blocking, so we can't see, but these ones are more of a flat. I do see some deeper, like some bronze-ish color to them, but they don't have any bolation. They're not bolated, whatever. There's some other plants in here too. This is another type of hydro in the back there. It doesn't do anything. I think it needs CO2, higher light. This is another Ludwigia Caroliniana, something like that. That one does not do good in my tanks either. That's as much as it's ever done right there. There's another little piece right there. Again, 2 different kinds of mosses. I believe this one to be Java, and then this one, I'm guessing peacock, but I guess I've been trying to look it up, but it's tough to get a good shot of the fronds on here. So this is 40-gallon breeder with just a ton of guppy grow outs in here, and I've been pulling out the males as I spot them. There's tons of females in here too, and some of them are pregnant and whatnot, but it is what it is. So whenever I see a male, I'll pull him out and drip him into this tank down below. This one houses all of the male shrimp. Let's see if we can get them. And a lot of these are descendants of this guy right here. This is a Dumbo Oh, excuse me. Dumbo one, I don't know exactly what he is, but some of them are kind of similar to him, but none of them have the big ears like this guy does. So I'm gonna have to try to cross him back to some of his offspring and see what I can't figure out. Also in this tank, there's at least two. Oh boy, can't think of their names. Abano shrimp. They always hide in the back. You never really see them. There's some Bacopa right there, not doing much. Some water wisteria in the back. Piece of Hydra. A bunch of bronze crypts. Some of that AR right there. A little bit of Java moss covered in hair algae. And this one does a little bit better. It's another bronze crypt. And that's what this tank is. We'll go over to this one. This is the 30-gallon. That's scratched up really good, so you can't really see inside too well. But this one was supposed to be just a female guppy tank, but I ended up. I thought I had all females. There happened to be like 2 males in here, and of course now everybody's gonna have babies. There's a bunch of new babies in the back. I was kind of trying to prevent that because I have so many guppies right now. But it is what it is. I got all of the yellow cull shrimp go in this tank. Ooh, come on, focus. Black focus. So those all go in here. You can see just some weird patterns on them. If it'll focus, yeah. Some of them are just kind of light. Some of them are missing spots of yellow, so they're more of a Riley or something. And then there's like this one right here that doesn't have any color except for on its head. There's another one back there that's actually a golden back, but doesn't have much color in the body. You saw the one little, I'm pretty sure it's a female bristle nose there, but otherwise there's just a couple tetras, some shrimp, and tons of guppies. A couple Corridoras that I guess I didn't really want, but I got them anyways. So they're not the same species. They're not gonna, more than likely not gonna lay eggs or anything. But lots of hair algae in this one too, all over the bottom. I'm okay with it though. And that's that tank. There is this cool piece of this is Hydra, that same Hygrophilia that's growing in the other tank, growing out of the tank here, and it's got a nice deep red color, more of a bronze purple, but inside the tank, once we get in there, it's just green, and it likes coming out of the tank, that's for sure. Lots more of this AR that I'm growing out in this tank. There's an algae wafer in the back there that those guys are picking on. There's a couple shrimp down there. There's another shrimp that doesn't have much color. And then we just set up this system a couple weeks ago, and it's been coming along nicely. Not exactly what I was hoping for with all this, but we got 3 10-gallons on the top planted with overflows leaving it, and some return lines coming from a pump down here. So this is like the 20-gallon sump that feeds those 3 10-gallon tanks. This one I just shoved a bunch of plants in. That it's just Ludwigia repens and some moss and whatever else happened to be floating around if you're in here. I'll probably throw some water wisteria in here and just leave it as a floater. I might actually put some substrate in the bottom and kind of plant this tank out, and maybe see if I can find myself a matin filter so I can separate the pump from the rest of the tank, and that way I get rid of all these filters in here. I could plant it out and just have a big matin filter in here as the filtration for the system. So there's nothing down in here except for plants and snails and lots of algae and duckweed, of course. Up in this one is where I've been tossing all of the orange shrimp. So there's one right there. There we go, zoomed in. So, 2 of these came out of the surprise shrimp tank. The rest of these came out of my yellow Neo tank. And then there's a couple of like yellow Rileys, yellow and orange Rileys that I put in here. So I really didn't have anywhere else to put them. Oh, there's one of them right there. Just a little guy. Let's see if we can zoom in. It gets really grainy down there, huh? But that's a yellow-orange Riley. There's 2 of those in here. And then there's, I think, about 10 orange shrimp that came from the yellow Neo colony. And then there's 2 that came from, like I said, that came from the surprise shrimp tank there. Zoom this back out. Lots of algae, some bacopa in there, a couple of little crypts, and then some of that moss. There's also a Java fern growing out of the rocks right there. Yeah, this one gets a lot of algae because the light that I have kind of overhangs the tank. It's a 36-inch long light, and this is about 32 inches side to side with all these tanks butted up against each other. So that one grows a little bit more algae just because it's got a little bit more light, but we'll try to scrape that off. I scraped the fronts, I haven't scraped the sides. This one is, I ordered some Blue Dream shrimp off of eBay from Angel Fish Guy, I think was the name of the seller. And these came in, a lot of them are very good quality Blue Dreams. There's a couple of like lighter ones that are still really nice shrimp, but they're not a high quality. I'd call them like a low quality Blue Dream. Of course, none of them are going to be out right now. Story of my life. Every time I get the camera out, I can't seem to find any of them. Now, maybe we'll come back if we have more time here. If they come back out, we'll see. And in this tank, I just have 3. I've got 2 males up there and 1 female guppy that that came out of the main tank here, the grow outs, just to keep a little bit of a cycle going in, you know, this aquarium, which overflows obviously back down into here. So with these, so as you can see on top there, that's where the white part right here. This is where the water comes back into the tank. It drains back down through this overflow there that goes out the back of the tank. But the one thing I didn't think about when I was building this is how far back and down the ball valves are to add water or, you know, reduce the water coming in. So I can't really reach them unless I climb up on a ladder and then reach all the way over the backs of these aquariums. So in the future, if I redo this, which I'm not sure I ever will, I would definitely put the ball valves right on top and not behind them, because I don't know what I was thinking. Also, you can see this piece of pipe. I was trying to get a good flow going into these tanks and a good flow leaving them without making a ton of gurgling noises, and it just didn't work. So this one works okay. It doesn't gurgle very often. And same thing with this one. This one doesn't have a sponge filter on it yet, just because I don't have any shrimp in here. But this one, I couldn't get it to stop gurgling, so I ended up making this monstrosity, this little breather part that comes out, and then like a U-tube going through there. Haha, U-tube. And coming back up, and yeah, it drains water just fine. It still makes a gurgling noise. It's kind of annoying. And so all of those run down into this 1.5-inch pipe I have down here, and that all comes over and just drains back into the aquarium. Not a ton of water flowing through the system, but I guess you don't really need a ton of flow. I've got this giant pump which is really held back. I've got all these stacks of media in there, but yeah, and just a ton of Ludwigia, some mosses, some rocks. The rock was in another aquarium, so I figured it had some beneficial bacteria on it. So when I was trying to cycle this quickly, the first couple of days I had lots of nitrates in the water. So trying to speed up the cycle, I pulled 2 filters that had this media in the bottom of the filters and put those in here, and I kind of crowded it right around the intake for the pump. None of these filters were cycled, so these all cycled in the tank, but it actually did speed up the cycle quite a bit by adding these bags of media in here. and it only took about 2 weeks to fully cycle all 4 of these aquariums, which was really cool. Usually it takes me a month because I just add fish food to the main part and just let it naturally decompose, turn into whatever, you know. Basically just a very slow way to cycle a tank. But adding this media in here really helped. Now, I'm pretty sure at this point I've seeded all the media, or all of the sponge filters in here. So I could probably pull out these media bags, but I don't have anywhere to put them right now anyway, so there's no point in doing that. So I'll just leave them in there. I'll leave the sponge filters in there, and when I do start more tanks, I'll just pull out of here. I also do still feed. I got some trial size samples and whatnot of food, and that's what I use to cycle the aquariums. I just grind it up really fine with my fingers, dump it in the tank, and that'll keep these filters cycling. It's just like having a nice nitrogen cycle continually down in this bottom sump. So it keeps all of these cycled as long as there's a good flow going in and going out of these, which it's not a ton, which is again why I added these air stones, just to get a little bit of water movement. The tops, should talk about these. This is polycarbonate, or I don't think it was named as acrylic. This piece in the back there that that this sits on top of, that's a piece of acrylic. These tops, every 2 days basically, I gotta flip these lids over because they warp so bad. They get a big bow in them or whatever, and they sit down in the water. And so I had this old like 65-gallon tank that has been sitting around. It's had some leaking issues, and all of the plastic was cracked on it and stuff, so it wasn't usable. And I wasn't about to reseal a 65-gallon. That's just, I don't like the look of them. I don't like the size, so I didn't. So I cut it apart, and I tried my hand at some glass cutting, which I was going to make a video of, but it did not go well. This one, you know, cracked in a bunch of weird places, and it kind of fits, but it doesn't really. And this piece is kind of okay. But when I tried to cut the next piece to make another couple lids out of it, as soon as I started trying to break it, it just shattered. So pretty sure that was all tempered glass. I'm pretty sure that's what this is, but whatever. I tried. I'm going to end up going back to the hardware store at some point, and I'll buy some thinner just glass sheets, and I'll cut that to fit instead. This plastic is just junk. I don't like it at all. I don't like flipping it every 2 days. And for the price I paid for it, I could have just bought the glass anyways. So, and then this will just go in the dumpster when I cut lids for it. So, down here, I bought a lot of these Aqueon lids. The glass ones, I've got a ton of them. I got one for pretty much every aquarium. Just, I mean, they're nice. All you got to do is about once a week when I rinse out these filters here in the back. When I pull those, I'll usually pull the hoods. Oh, that one doesn't have it on right there. But I'll usually pull the hoods and run them under the water and clean them off pretty good. I keep that piece in there, because that's the automatic drip system right there. So I just did a video about that, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and take a look back and see what I did. Well, we just have a steady drip of water going into all these aquariums, which I'm guessing in this tank it's probably about 5 to 6 gallons a day. And same thing in this one, just because of the goldfish. The rest of these are about 2 to 5 gallons a day get changed out, just with a simple overflow drip system. Again, I have a video on that down on my channel there. But that's basically the end of the update. Thanks for sticking around. If you have any questions, you know, put them down below. I do get back to my questions as soon as possible, usually within a couple hours, sometimes just overnight. Let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions, or if you know maybe what this moss is right there, let me know. Again, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.